we will open our special meeting of council, electronic meeting of Wednesday, April 21. So welcome council and staff and public if there are any. And I will ask if there is anyone that has a declaration of pecuniary interest to so do or at the appropriate time. Moving on to approval of the agenda. It is a special council agenda, and the agenda of the special council meeting of April 21 be approved as presented. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Rose and Councillor Sandeman. All in favor? That's good. Thank you. And with that, we are going to move into the number 5, which is zoning bylaw amendment. And I have to say that there is a public meeting tonight under Section 34 of the Planning Act to consider an application for zoning bylaw amendment to the town zoning bylaw 2000-02. The application is a removal of the holding symbol for the property at 61 Thompson's Road. And the purpose of this public meeting, council, is to provide an opportunity for the public to make comments, or the purpose of it is not to hear from the public regarding the proposed removal of the holding H symbol. So with that, I will ask our planner, Andrea Betty, to introduce.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Worship and members of council. This is the statutory meeting under the Planning Act, as the mayor has mentioned, to remove the holding H symbol. I can confirm that notice was given last week, about 10 days approximately prior to this meeting, about the removal of the holding H symbol. To date, we've not received any comments or concerns from any agencies or any neighbors with regard to the application. The application is to remove the holding symbol, which was put or placed on the property back in 2012 when the property was rezoned in order to satisfy, among other things, a site plan agreement with the municipality, which has been satisfied by the developer. And so they've now applied to remove this holding H symbol and satisfying that piece of the zoning bylaw. I think I can answer any questions if council has any. Otherwise, I'll turn it back to you, Your Worship.
Okay, members of council, does anyone have any questions to our planner? There being none, we will be dealing with this later under bylaws. But in the meantime, under 5, it is a zoning bylaw amendment to removal of the holding H symbol for 61 Thompson's Road, PL 2021-29, and the recommended action is that a zoning bylaw amendment to remove the holding H symbol for the property municipally known as 61 Thompson's Road be approved. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Wedemarker and Councillor Levy. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. And with that, number 6, we will move into in camera. Madam Clerk, are we good to go?
Yes, Your Worship, go ahead.
Okay, so 7 reports from in-camera meeting held. The first one is the drainage improvements within phase 2 of the Harbor Point subdivision. And Madam Clerk, if you could read the option 1, please, as a motion.
This is specifically the drainage improvement motion, Your Worship?
Yes.
Okay, that motion is, I'm sorry, just one moment. That council approve option 1 as outlined within the staff report, and that council express its intent to recover these funds in subsequent development charges bylaws.
Okay, the mover and the seconder. Councillor Cummings and Councillor Rose, all in favor. Okay, and well, it is carried. We have one opposed, but the majority is carried. Moving on to 2, which is the SCDSD property matter 51 Dunlop Street, CAO 2021-006. And there, Madam Clerk, the motion.
Thank you, Your Worship. I can read the recommended action. I do believe there was a consideration of separating the motion, but I'll read it as the recommended action appears.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that Council receives CAO Report 2021-06 pertaining to the property purchase of the former Penetanguishene Secondary School from the Simcoe County District School Board, and that Council give direction to the CAO to formally waive Item 2 condition investigations of the signed purchase and sale agreement, Schedule A, and that the CAO returns with a public open session report in May outlining options for Council consideration on the future of the building.
Okay, and with that, I know that Councillor Cummings, you were proposing something else, but we have to deal with this motion to begin with. So whether you're going to change, add, or whatever. So do we have a mover on this one? Councillor Levy, and a seconder. Deputy Mayor, and all in favor. Okay, we're good. It is passed. Thank you. And Councillor Cummings, were you wanting to add another motion? Or?
Yes, Your Worship. I was just going to add a motion to put some timelines to the report coming to Council. I'd like to make a motion to bring the detailed report to the Committee of the Whole on May 12th and to a special meeting of Council to be ratified on May 26th.
Okay, so you're making that motion. Do we have a second to that motion? Councillor Wedemarker, all in favor? Okay, and that is carried. So with that, we will, Councillor Wedemarker, you have your card up to speak.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a point of order, maybe a question for the clerk, because she quickly read that motion dealing with the drainage issue, and she changed the first part of it, which is what we had talked about, but she left the second part in. And the second part mentioned, and that's why I voted against it, because it said something to the effect that these funds would be recovered through development charges. And I don't know if that was the intent. So maybe the clerk can just refresh my memory, but I thought that she had said, you know, option 1, and then that the monies be recovered from development charges. And I went, oh, and then so I'm just asking as a point of order, Your Worship, because I'm not sure if that was the intent. Thank you.
Actually, I don't believe it is. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through to Councillor Vadavon-Court. Certainly, this is where it becomes a problem when the clerk is attempting to move motions or read motions on behalf of council. So certainly, you know, option 1 was what was recommended to be read by the mayor, which is what was read, but the motion was read in full. So. Again, that would be an opportunity for clarity to be done at the moment. So yeah, certainly we moved and seconded and carried that motion as it was read by myself. But we can, if the chair would like to revisit that motion and get further clarity, I can certainly minute it accordingly.
Well, I think in discussions with the CAO, when discussions about the development charge costing, and I think that we were looking at thinking that would have been in a settlement of the 50-50. So am I correct, Mr. CAO, in that statement?
Thank you, Your Worship. I do believe we're in open session right now, so I just want to be cognizant of to what extent and what detail we're going through. My suggestion, I think, to council based on the discussion that was had is that the motion simply refer to option 1 as opposed to getting into any level of detail, simply because we are dealing with a potential litigation matter here. So I think council has option 1 and option 2 in front of them. There was great discussion in camera with respect to the particulars, but I would just suggest we keep it as simple as that.
Okay. And that, yes, Councillor Whittaker.
Yes, thank you, Worship. Yeah, that would be right, because I think option one in the report clearly outlined the process and everything. So I think it was just the tacking on that second bit that I think was just done. You know, and I appreciate, you know, the clerk trying to be helpful, but I don't think it was necessary given the discussion that took place on option one, and certainly council was in support of that. So if that could be just clarified, that in fact all we're doing is proceeding with option one, and that second paragraph is not proceeding, then I'm particularly good. I voted against it because it was, that second paragraph was tacked on, and I just thought, whoa, wait a second here. So
Okay.
in any event, you know, if it's just a correction, then I'm good with that. Thank you.
Okay, good, Madam Clerk, we can make the correction, right? Item. Okay, so with that, we will move on to consideration of bylaws, and we have a bylaw. Bylaw 2021-24 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2000-02 as amended of the Corporation of Town of Penetanguishene, remove H symbol from 61 Thompson Road West, that the Council of Town of Penetanguishene introduce the following bylaw 2021-24, and that the bylaw be read a first time and deemed to be read a second time and a third time and carried. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Mayat and Councillor Cummings, all in favor. Thank you. And I don't believe we would have any questions from the period from the media or the public. And Madam Deputy Mayor, you wish to make a comment or speak or whatever?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow is Earth Day, and encourage everyone to play a part in some fashion or another. And perhaps it would be just an idea, a reduction of plastic that we use on an everyday basis. So just wanted to bring that forward and encourage everyone to do a little something to celebrate Earth Day. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. A couple comments that I might make is today actually was Volunteer Day for volunteers throughout the county and municipalities. And today I had the pleasure of sitting in on a Zoom meeting with Simcoe County, and they're honoring all their volunteers at all our long-term homes, Georgian Village and Sunset Manor, all four of them. And it was quite an honor. As I'm sure some of you may know, you know that when we know that here in our municipality, volunteers are the backbone of most municipalities when it comes down to it. And some of you may not be aware, I don't know, but when we decided to have a vaccination center at our arena, and the Central Muskoka District Health Unit put out to have volunteers, we had 268 people that come forward to volunteer to help at our vaccination center. So that's remarkable in itself. And then, Deputy Mayor, when you touch on Earth Day, yes, another good point of that is tomorrow I'm going to have the pleasure and the honor of presenting a bouquet of flowers and a certificate to Charlotte Waugh, the lady who is constantly picking up garbage and cleaning our waterfront park. So we make that as part of Earth Day. So.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
So with that, members of council, enjoy the rest of your week, and see you all at some other third point.
No, sorry,
Your Worship.
Worship, don't we have
Hang on.
another meeting? Don't we have another meeting?
We have another meeting. So we just need to adjourn special council, and then we can go on to a special committee of the whole.
I don't have that.
I promise you there's another meeting.
Well, Mr. CAO, do I have an agenda for a special council meeting?
The one for Chatham Street.
Your Worship, I'm not sure if you do or not, but you should. But the clerk is definitely correct. We have a special cal for 2 items. And if you don't have it in front of you, what I might suggest, if the deputy mayor has it in front of you for sake of for sake of ease, Your Worship, it might be opportunistic for you to ask
Oh,
her to chair.
Madame Deputy Mayor, you're going to earn your wages tonight. So,
Yes, well, I'm sorry that I did not have that meeting up in front of me either.
so I will let you chair this portion of the meeting, which since I don't have an agenda.
Neither do I, Your Worship. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Your Worship,
I don't
motion to adjourn.
I don't.
Motion to adjourn this meeting, Your Worship.
well, no, I don't know.
Your Worship, what I could do, if I might, is Councillor Cumming, you probably should adjourn the council meeting.
Yes. Please.
And then perhaps I can share my screen as has been suggested, and Your Worship, you could carry on sharing, or even Sarah, if Sarah has it handy, perhaps she could.
She probably,
Okay,
she probably
so,
doesn't.
the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Worship.
So now we'll move on to the cow meeting. And Sarah, you could bring that up.
Your Worship, I will share my screen here. I
Yeah,
have it
it's
handy.
not likely that Sarah would have it ready, so.
I'm just going to need Sarah to stop the share when it comes time. That's all.
Oh, sure, I don't have that.
It disappeared.
Yeah, it's gone.
Try again.
All right, I'm going to ask Sarah to. All right, let's try one more time. Your Worship, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see the agenda. Okay.
All right.
So we will call this meeting to order. And it is a special committee of the whole, April 21. The recommended action that the special committee of the whole agenda for April 2021 be approved as presented. Now, I cannot see all the members of council, so mover and the seconder. Deputy Mayor and Councillor Cummings, all in favor. Okay, thank you. And anyone may having a declaration of pecuniary interest can so do at the appropriate time. So then we move on to 4, which is section A, the transportation and environmental services. So I pass that on to Councillor Pugh.
Thank you, Worship. Should we keep this up on the screen? Is that all right with everybody? Yep. Okay, very good. We'll continue. So the first matter tonight under matters for consideration is the award of the Chatham Street reconstruction tender, report ENG 2021-04. The motion is that council awards the Chatham Street reconstruction tender, both phase 1 and phase 2, to Pennorth Group Limited for a price of $2,348,311.39, excluding HST. Do we have a mover on this item? I'm not sure. Councillor LaRose and a seconder. Councillor Vadebunker. Any discussion, questions? I have to browse here because I can't see everybody.
No, thank you, Councillor Clue. It's nice to see the Chatham Street reconstruction project moving ahead. It's something I know His Worship has wanted to see for many, many years. So he's got a big smile on his face tonight, which is great. Unfortunately, the project came in a little bit more. Well, it came in more than what we had budgeted, which is unfortunate. It's all the details are outlined in the report. From what I gather in the report is that what we overexpend in 2021, we're going to have to pick that up in 2022, which I don't have a problem with. It's just unfortunate that we're in that situation. I think that the funds would be available. It just may have an impact on our capital program in 2022. So I'm supportive of moving ahead with the project. It was just unfortunate that it's come substantially over. Thank you.
Thank you. Fair point. I think the costs are much higher than anyone has expected this year. Are there any other questions or comments? I have to scroll as I can't see everybody, but I'm not seeing any. Okay. Councillor Mayotte, did you have a question or are you just getting ready? Okay. So that motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor? No.
I might make a point that Councillor Wedewanker mentioned, Madam Chair, the fact that put a big smile on my face is that I remember going to council some 20 odd years ago, and Chatham Street was on the back burner then. Every 5 years still now.
Great. All in favor? Motion is carried.
That will bring us to section 5.
So the matters for consideration, it's the adoption of the 2021 tax rates and levies, Financial Report 2021-07, that the 2021 tax rates, levies, and budget estimates be adopted as recommended under option number 2, and that the clerk be directed to bring forward the necessary bylaws for council approval. Could we have a mover, please? Yes, Councillor Wedewanker. And a seconder, Councillor Mayotte. Would we like to have the treasurer make a brief report? No, maybe so. Carrie, if you want to just do a very, very quick synopsis, and then we'll do the vote. Thank you.
Sure. So following up when council approved our 2021 budget back in mid-January of this year, staff was directed to bring forward a budget with a maximum tax increase of 1.5%, which we did do, and it was approved back again, as I said, back in January. Again, we do estimate how the county rates come in and the provincial education rates come in, and how typically, historically, every year, our proportionate share of the growth and impact downwards, and close to zero at the time. It was about 0.1%. And when all is said and done, and we did get the county tax rates, and they have not changed. The tax rates stayed the same with a 0% increase, and as well the provincial rates we just that were received, as well as the actual growth and our proportionate share of the new current value assessment growth in the county. It didn't quite bring our 1.5% down to an anticipated 0.1% or close to 0%. It actually brought it down to 1%, which is why my recommendation within the report is to go to option 2, which is to reduce our capital investment increase that was the cause of our initial 1.5% or the majority portion of the 1.5% increase for the town's rate was an increase to our capital investment. So what I'm suggesting suggesting to committee today is to reduce that capital investment increase by $154,000 and change, which would bring the overall tax impact to our residents for 2021 to 0%. And again, reminding everyone that MPAC has delayed their reassessment of all the properties in Ontario. So there would be no assessment increase, and with option 2, there would be a overall 0% tax increase as well.
Thank you very much, Carrie. With that information, any questions, any discussion, or we'll just call for the vote. We do have a mover and a seconder. Sorry, doing this quick scroll. Okay, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you very much. And question period from media and public. I would say there are no questions. I'll turn it back to you, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Sanema. And with that, Mr. CIO, thank you for sharing your agenda with me, and we get through this fine. And with that, now I can say, enjoy the rest of your week and have a good weekend. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.